In this video, I want to show you a new program, part of the Palisade decision suite called Evolver. Evolver, similar to Solver, tries to find the minimum, maximum, the optimum for a particular function based on varying some inputs. It is somewhat more robust than Solver. It can solve a larger set of problems. It has one disadvantage that some people do not like about it, and that is it doesn't have an algorithm that is guaranteed to get you the best optimal value. All it can do, and is often called a heuristic, is find a better solution than the one you currently have. But it can work on a larger set of problems. Solver is restricted to problems that have continuous functions, continuous constraints, and Evolver can work on things that are even discontinuous, and therefore has just a bigger range of things to do. This particular example will work on what's called a grouping problem, where I just made up some values for things that you're going to give your three granddaughters, and the items you want to give have different amounts of values, and you have to decide who gets what. Which of the three granddaughters gets which of these items. And what you have to decide on is, what do you mean by even as possible? How do you know that you've given the three granddaughters a pretty even set of assets? And I just put down here that you'll know that using Solver to do this may, I'm not even going to consider how that might happen. Let's move over to Excel, where I've copied this table, and I've done a few things. I've made some assignments. Actually, it was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm just giving things to daughter 1 or granddaughter 2. Over here, I've put in a function that will add things up. If one of these values is equal to the value in E5, which is 1, then it'll add the corresponding value over here. And a similar sort of function is in number 2, and even one for number 3. So for instance, you could give number 1 everything, and you'll see that 2 and 3 have nothing. So you can start with any kind of value you like. If you want to go back to the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's totally up to you on how you want to start this particular problem. What Evolver will do is try to rearrange these numbers to come up with maybe a different set. I decided to start with a measure of even as possible, as meaning the standard deviation of these three numbers would be rather small. Right now you can see, for instance, it's not small. Well, let's load in Solver. We'll go to the Office button. We'll go to Palisade Decision Tools. Look for Evolver, version 6. And I've already set up this particular problem in Evolver, so there's little we have to do. As usual, I invite you to go to the short tutorials, the guided tour. You'll learn so much more. The example models are excellent in showing you the various types of optimization problems that Evolver can do. Notice the ribbon for Evolver. I do want to show you the model definition. It's saying that we're looking for a minimum for cell F9, which is where the standard deviation is, and that the adjustable cell range is C5 to C20. That, of course, is the list of granddaughters in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The grouping method is what it's going to use for choosing the numbers. What that means is it will always use 1, 2, 3. It'll use at least 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, but it can change to different numbers. It could have 10 of these be 1s, the rest be 2s and 3s, or kind of an even distribution. There are some settings here, but I think I'll just do a start, and we'll have Evolver begin trying to find a better set of values than the initial set I have, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I see right now it's already chosen a set of values that has a very small standard deviation. In the Evolver progress box, we can let this go for a while, and see if we'll come up with a better version. You can also have it show you a little bit about what it's doing, so I'll click on the Watcher button here, and you'll see that what it has done so far is started out with a very high standard deviation, more than 6,000, and has currently dropped way down on this last 8,000 attempts at rearranging the granddaughter numbers. It's dropped to below 50, and that could be about as good a value as I could hope to get. I could let it run for a little while longer. I'll just click on stop here. And I'll click on OK. If you're satisfied with that distribution of assets to your granddaughters, you can quit right now, or you could try running it for a little while longer and see if you can come up with even a smaller standard deviation, a more close distribution. Although right now there's only $95 separating the high from the low, which is a pretty good distribution when you consider not even one of your items is below $275. So that's how Evolver can be used to find fairly quickly a way to group the different values, distributions. You can always come in and insert a few and include your own. Let's insert a couple of rows here. And let's just put in something like coins. Oh, perhaps rare books. How about some art? How about a grand piano? How about some more stocks of some sort? Put in some value. Suppose the coins are worth $3,200 at the moment, and the rare books are worth $4,500. Art is worth about $6,100. Piano is worth $2,100, and the stocks are worth $780. Let's just kind of give it to granddaughter 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Notice our standard deviation went up, of course. And you can add almost anything you like. Let's go back to the Evolver button and tell it to start again. Watch the Evolver progress. Literally, Evolver is changing all these numbers. You just don't see it happening here on the screen. That's so it will go faster. And evaluating what the standard deviation would be. And of course, trying to come up with the smallest standard deviation. So start out with something just over 400, it looks like. And is now down to some sort of value just under 36. Which possibly could be as good as I'm going to get, although I've only let it run for 30-some seconds. But if you're tired, we just click a stop and say that's the good enough distribution of assets to my granddaughters. Number 2 gets gold coins, pearl string. Oh, she gets the pearl earrings as well. Silver coins, IBM stock. Looks like silver service in China as well. And of course, if any granddaughter just has to have a certain item, just give that item to her, but do not include that particular cell in what Evolver is allowed to change. Right now you can see it's a very tight distribution between the lowest and the highest. Just $60 between. That's a pretty even distribution of these assets. And that gives you a quick idea of how Evolver, using its group method, can do an optimization problem.